Well, if you are listening to me right now and you have a single member LLC, I want to talk to you because it's really important. I want to share with you how you can get a business line of credit, okay? But most importantly, I want to share with you 5 mistakes that always cause rejection and what to do about them. So don't you go anywhere. You're going to love today's conversation. I guarantee it.
One in a million, one in a million, one in a million. You know they're coming up to me, cause I'm just the kind of flower that's stinging in the beat, but the rhythm's getting higher. Go, 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 go. One in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million, one in a million.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sir Kiwi Show. How are you today? I hope you are doing fantastic. I'm doing marvelous, if you had to ask me. If you are doing as great as I am, go grab a cup of coffee or tea or vodka and let's roll. In today's conversation, I want to talk to you about single member LLC business line of credit. Okay, we are on a very specific credit product here, business line of credit. And I want to share with you 5 mistakes that always cause rejection and what to do about them. Okay, but before I get into the nitty gritty, I want to talk a little bit about a business line of credit. It's important, boss. I want you to really understand. What is a business line of credit? Well, it is basically a flexible loan for businesses that works like a credit card. So whether you have a single member LLC or a multi-member LLC or a corporation or an S corp or whatnot, you basically could get money from that. Okay, so as a borrower, you draw money from your credit line as needed, only paying interest on the portion of money borrowed, right? This is kind of cool because it gives you some flexibility in your liquidity management. So basically, the thing here, I want you to understand that a business line of credit is kind of similar to a business credit card because both allow small businesses to access funds when needs arise instead of the lump sum a business loan would provide. Very important now. What are the requirements to get a business line of credit? The requirements are different depending on the lender, right? Whether you're talking about a big national bank or a credit union or a community bank, it really depends. But one thing I want you to understand, boss, I want you to really understand the fact that you have flexibility with the business line of credit. It's not as strict. It is not as strict, as rigid as what you would have for a business loan, okay? Whether you have, again, a single member or a multi-member. And so the thing you have to understand is when we talk about the requirements, some lenders will want you to have annual revenue. It could be $25,000 to $100,000 a year, gross, of course. Some lenders will want you to have an operational history of 2 years, okay? But if you are a new member, a new LLC, you could still qualify. But the thing is, you have to actually apply at a bank or credit union where you currently have a relationship. It's really important. So when you are new, it's always important to start somewhere where they know you, okay? So that's one thing I want you to understand. Another thing I want you to really understand with the business line of credit is that the documentation is not too much as you would have for a business loan because the bank controls the money anyway. They're not giving you the money up front. They're just giving you a portion, okay? So the requirements are a little different. So this is the foundation I wanted to lay before we get into the nitty gritty. So the first mistake that you are making that could cause rejection is what we call legitimacy. Son, I want to talk to you about legitimacy. Do you have a legit business right now? Talk to me about that. The big mistake that you might be making is you're not proving that your single member LLC is legit. I don't care about if you are a single member LLC or a sole proprietorship or multi-member LLC, you got to be in a situation where you can prove to the lender that, hey, listen, I'm legit. How do you do this? How do you prove your legitimacy? Well, a couple of things. Choose a business name, choose a business address, got a business phone number, choose a business structure, right? You want to register your business. Hopefully you probably register your business. That's why you were called a single member LLC. But the thing here is that there are some ancillary measures you have to do. Do you have a registered agent? Very important. Are you compliant with the rules and regulations in the state where you were incorporated? What I'm trying to tell you, son, here, and daughter, you are also, I want to talk to everybody here. Grandpa, grandma, mom, dad, I'm talking to everybody. If you're listening to me right now, and you are sitting there and you are a single member LLC, I want you to take all the steps necessary to establish your business as a legit business. And that means thinking about licenses and permits. What about your industry? Are you regulated at the federal level or the state level? Those are things we got to really think about. And have you applied for an EIN? This is important also. Have you opened a business account? Have you tried a business credit card? Some of those things are very important. And now you can tell me, hey, listen, well, I'm still working on it. Hey. I want you to be very strict about those things, because those will determine your approval odds when it comes to a business line of credit. Okay. Think about obtaining a DUNS number. You want to apply with DNB. That's very important, because that will establish the foundation for a strong business credit pattern. That's what we want. Okay. Think about creating a website, registering with online services. The bottom line here is that I don't care if you work from your basement or whatever. You want to make sure that you conduct business as a legit business. Okay. This is very important. And sometimes you can even subscribe to a virtual address service. In other words, you can be somewhere in New York, but you can have your address in a very posh zip code in LA, depending on your business and depending on your target audience. Okay. What I want you to do is to actually take the steps that you need right now to legitimize your business. Very important, boss. The second mistake that you might be making that could cause rejection is cash flows. Okay, not showing an accurate and positive cash flow. What I'm trying to say here is that I'm not asking you to become a PhD in accounting. Okay, if financial reporting is on your forte, that's fine. Who cares anyway? I mean, you're good at what you do. That's what I care about. Okay, but I care about the fact that I want you to present accurate financial information. Okay, if you don't have the talent, if you have no knack for preparing financial statements, I want you to outsource the whole thing. Yeah, outsource it, boss. Okay. The thing and the cool thing is you can actually outsource it to a local CPA, a local accountant. You can do things online, but the thing, you can even use accounting software. If you take a software tool like QuickBooks, as long as you have the right input, the software will actually give you the right output. Okay. So cash flows are really important. If you are a single member LLC right now, you are listening to me, and you are trying to get a business line of credit, you have to make sure that you show accurate and positive cash flow. If you are a new LLC, you have to prepare something called projected cash flows. Okay. And I don't care. Listen, don't you try to razzle dazzle me and telling me, well, I can't do it because blah, 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 blah. I want to hear that. I don't want to hear that. Hey, I don't want to hear that. Okay. The thing here is you need to prepare cash flows. And when I say positive cash flows, this is ideal. In other words, if you are generating revenue, this is kind of cool. But listen, if you are in the red right now in terms of your cash flows, that's fine too, as long as you are able to substantiate, you're able to explain why. Okay. How do you calculate cash flows? Well, there are a lot of ways to calculate cash flows, but to make a long story short, a cash flow statement, because that's the accounting report that you're going to have to prepare. That report shows 3 sections: cash flows from operating activities, cash flows from investing activities, and cash flows from financing activities. And at the end, you have a net cash and net change in cash, and then you have a net cash at the end. The thing here is that I don't want to go too much in detail because I don't want to bore you or confuse you with this. But again, if you have questions, just ask. We'll just respond to you, or it's just better to hire a local accountant to explain things to you. But the bottom line is you have to show accurate cash flows. Very important. One thing I also want to say here is that you need to actually think about, if you want to reduce, if you want to manage your cash flows, there are a lot of things you can do. You don't wait to send invoices. You want to bill clients as soon as possible. Adjust your inventory as needed. That's important, boss. Okay. You want to lease your equipment instead of buying it, because you can save some cash on a fixed property. Okay. And borrow money when you need it. Okay. Reevaluate your business operations. This is important. Business operation reevaluation should be something you are doing continually. Very important. The third mistake that you might be making right now that could cause rejection is financials. Now, this is kind of analogous to what I said earlier, okay? And the thing here is that not showing clear and comprehensive financial statement as well as tax returns. This is one of the reasons why your ads might be rejected on a business line of credit application, especially if you are a single member LLC. You know why? You want to know why? This is because your legal structure is kind of similar to a sole proprietorship, because there is no clear segregation between your personal affairs and your business affairs, even though you have the LLC veneer. Because if push comes to shove, your personal asset might be attacked. But that's another story for another day. What I want you to do right now is to show clear and comprehensive financial statement as well as tax returns. Okay, Uncle, are you listening to me? Are you just walking around and just thinking, what is this guy talking about? He's just talking shh. He is just talking shh. Boy. This is important. I don't want you to walk. Why are you walking away? I want you to listen to me right now. Okay, because I'm telling you an important thing that will actually lay the foundation for a strong business line of credit application for your single member LLC. Okay, so what are we talking about here? What is the whole thing about financial statements? Well, there are 4 financial statements. I just talked to you about one, the statement of cash flows, but you have 3 others that are all very important also. You have a balance sheet. That's where you show your assets and liabilities, right? You have your income statement. That's where you show your revenue, your expenses, and your net income or loss. And you have your statement of owner's equity. If you're a single member LLC, you are only one, so it is your equity. And the 4th is what I just said, the statement of cash flows. It's important. What I want to say here is that I don't want you to confuse you too much with accounting, especially if you're not versed in accounting matters. But what I want you to really take away from this conversation is that whatever numbers you are presenting to the lender, you want to make sure those numbers are accurate. Did you hear that, son? I'm talking to you. Okay, I don't want you to go on the internet and download a cheap ass template and trying to fill in numbers. Don't try to do something you're not good at. Okay, you want to focus where your talent is at and just do your best at what you're good at. Okay, trying to outsource as much as possible, and you're trying to control cost. Again, if a local accountant is too expensive for you, you have a lot of platforms on the internet, including Fiverr, Upwork, TopTel, and whatnot, that will basically allow you to get the data you need. Very important. And don't forget the notes to the financial statements. So when we talk about financial statements, of course, we talk about the 4 primary financial statements, but there are also notes to the financial statement. Number 4, your FICO score. Son, I want to talk to you about something that you really should be thinking about. You have a single member LLC right now. You need the cash. You want to have a business line of credit. Not checking your personal FICO score to make sure everything is accurate is a quintessential mistake that you are making right now. You know why? Because as I said earlier, when you have a single member LLC, there is some kind of a correlation between your personal affairs and business's affairs. I don't care what anybody tells you. Well, with an LLC, you have a segregation. You are legally preserved, right? If somebody wants to sue your ass, you are preserved. That's true to a certain extent. But from a lender's perspective, because that's what I care about, I want you to apply successfully here. From a lender's perspective, your personal FICO score is important. Okay, so make sure that you check your personal FICO score before you apply for any business line of credit. This is really important. We got to get to it. It's about time you bring the shipment to the shore, boss. It's about time you do the right thing to make sure that your FICO score is as accurate as possible before you apply for this business line of credit. When I talk about FICO score, I'm speaking about the 3 credit reports. By the way, I'm speaking about your Vantage 2.0 score also. I'm talking about the 3 credit bureaus. I'm talking about TransUnion, Equifax, and Experian. Very important, okay? You just don't want to walk around and just check one report, because sometimes there are chasms, there are deltas, there are gaps between your TransUnion score and your Equifax score and your Experian score. So if you want to reconcile those deltas, you want to reconcile those variances. So the only way you can do this is by checking the scores themselves. So hey, listen, why are we having some fuzzy numbers here? Somebody's playing a game with my credit score or what? What's going on here? What is going on here? Anybody home? Hello? That's what you do. That's what you got to do with your credit score. You want to systematically and reflexively file dispute letters. If somebody's playing games with your credit report, you want to fight back. And I don't care. Listen, let the chips fall where they may. That's the motto I want you to have. I want you to be empowered enough to fix whatever problems that you have on your FICO score. And when we talk about raising your credit score fast, find out what your issuer reports in terms of your payment history, pay down debt strategically. You can also try to pay twice a month. Okay, trying to see if you can raise your credit limits or mix things up in terms of your credit score, in terms of your credit. Okay, very important too. And you have to do this continually. Don't you try to do this randomly. I don't want you to start today because you want to apply for a business line of credit 2 months from now. No, you want to start yesterday. You want to start 1 year ago. Okay, it's a game, boss. It's a game. I want you to fight, but you can't fight if you don't practice. I'll be right back right after this. Don't go anywhere.
Finest, yo, young Mr. Killer, and call me señorita. I topic got me dreaming, my legs up on the ceiling. Oh yeah. I know when he come, he ain't never gonna leave. No. Hit it the night run, and that's the way I wanna be. So don't think I'm the one to won't ever be enough.
Welcome back, folks, to another edition of the Awesome Sweetie Q Show. We are also having a conversation today about a single member LLC business line of credit. And I'm just having a conversation with you about the 5 mistakes that you have that could cause a rejection and that you have to actually stop making. Very important. Now, mistake number 5, actually your business plan. Not featuring a compelling business plan in your application. Oh boy. That's a big one. The thing here is that a lot of folks actually underestimate the importance of a business plan and a business line of credit application. Especially again, when you have a single member LLC, you are already like you are operating on a single leg. I don't know if you understand the metaphor that I'm just talking about. In other words, you're a little fragile. You're a little frail. Your business is frail. I don't care if you're making $1 million a year. You trying to razzle dazzle me, telling me, I'm banking. I'm hey. If you're making money, why do you need a business line of credit in the first place? Okay, so my thing is, if you want to beef up, if you want to buttress your business line of credit application, you want to get into a position where you have a compelling business plan. And the same thing applies. My advice applies here also in terms of outsourcing anything you're not good at. Don't you try to actually read books or go on the internet and trying to buy a $20 business plan template and trying to waste my time and the lender's time with crazy content. I'm gonna try to customize it because I want to save money. Hello, anybody home? Are we serious here? Are we seriously trying to have a $50,000 business line of credit and we cannot even spend $200 on somebody to write a business plan for us? Are we serious here? We must be joking. If you're doing that, son, if you are doing that right now, I want you to look yourself up in the mirror and tell yourself, I'm a jokester. You're playing. You are a player, and a bad player at that. Okay? And I want you to really change that. Stop that. Hey, stop that. I want you to write for me and the lender a compelling business plan that shows an executive summary, a part where you describe your company. You perform a market analysis, right? You show how the market is playing with in the sector where you actually operate. You want to outline the management of the business. If you have people helping you, you want to list your products and services. You want to perform customer segmentation. You want to define a marketing plan. Okay, and don't forget to have the financial statement. Very important. Now, business plan requirements will differ depending on the lender, but I'm just giving you here the fulcrum, the foundation, okay, and the core that you need to have, and it's very important to have that. And again, don't you try to cut corners here. Don't you look for shortcuts. Do the right thing. Give me a compelling, a captivating, and enthralling business plan. Now, before I close to this conversation, let me just give you an approach. How do you successfully apply for a single member LLC business line of credit? Okay, so I'm painting a picture for you right now. The picture is very simple. You are a single member LLC. It's only you. You are hustling. You're trying to make cash here and there. You're probably making a lot of cash or not a lot of cash. Doesn't really matter. But if you want to apply successfully for a single member LLC business line of credit, the first thing, and very important, numero uno, you really want to ask yourself, is a business line of credit right for me at this very moment? Okay, are you looking for extra cash flow? Do you have a specific purpose in mind? Or does your business experience seasonal fluctuations? In other words, is your LLC subject to a cyclical flows, ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows, ebbs and flows? Okay. Do you have increased short-term expenses like replacing inventory or paying for unexpected costs? Those are important. Those are important questions I want you to ask yourself right now. And again, listen, I'm just trying to give you the foundation you need to conduct strict analytical research. Okay, I want you to conduct strict analysis. Okay, and the thinking you need to ask yourself. And by the way, don't forget that you want to always start by getting a business line of credit, at least applying for it at your local credit union or business or bank. You want to start where they know your ass. You don't want to start where nobody knows you. Okay, so one thing you want to do is you want to talk to your bank and say, listen, do you guys provide business line of credit? Because I'm looking for one, and what are the conditions? Okay, and you want to ask all the questions so that you can see exactly what could cause rejection. Because the bottom line is to try to avoid any kind of rejection when we apply for a business line of credit, right? Those are important elements. Those are really pivotal elements that we need to pay attention to. And I want to tell you right now, the thing here is that you want to study all the requirements of the business line of credit so that you're not surprised, at the last minute. Or why are they asking for my tax returns? I thought that, they didn't need my tax returns. No, you want to have a complete checklist of all the requirements so that when you are ready, and the thing is you want to apply at a branch so that you are all along in conversation with the rep, or the loan rep, with the underwriting team, so everybody knows you. Okay, so they call you on the first name basis. That's kind of cool too, because the thing is, we got to get to a situation where we actually look at the banker as an ally. The banker, your banker, the one that you just trying to, people are just like in the media nowadays. People saying, well, banks are evil, whatever. Hey, whatever. Banks are your allies. Okay. And you got to think about bankers, and at least your local rep, your local banking rep, as your ally. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. In today's conversation, I was just talking to you about the single member LLC, business line of credit, 5 mistakes that always cause rejection, and what to do about them. So I gave you an overview. We talked about legitimacy, cash flows, okay? And number 3, we also talked about your financials. And then we also talked about your FICO score. And last but not the least, we spoke about a business plan. And then I gave you an approach that will help you apply successfully for a single member LLC business line of credit. Thank you so much for your attention. I really appreciate it. God bless you. I'll see you next time. But until then, remember, stay marvelous.